At the end of our last DVD, I said, study hard. But the truth is, I don't want you to study. No, I want you to have mushin. Mind, no mind. Empty your mind, and like a cup, you'll just intuitively understand. You know, you can have instant, spontaneous understanding of all things. And if you study and rotely memorize, you can in fact become robotic and stagnant and lose the flow. Think deeply on this. That's what I should have closed with. Now, getting back to ninja, Sun Tzu said, know the enemy and know yourself, and in 1,000 battles you will never be in danger. Very deep, isn't it? See, when you understand, and all you're getting, get understanding, and when you understand the enemy, and you understand yourself, what danger is there? You have total understanding of it. You'll know just what to do through your intuition. The greatest skills of the ninja are deception and surprise. Through these two keys of his large arsenal, he could be capable of rendering victory from the greatest of opponents, making you lose the initiative, lose your advantage, confuse the enemy. Now, ninjutsu or ninja was actually introduced to Japan between the 5th and 8th century. And in the 6th century, Prince Shotoku, who was a hopeful at the throne, hired a Yamabushi. What is a Yamabushi? A mountain warrior man. Warrior monk. Mountain warrior monk. He hired a Yamabushi to spy for him. That's one of the first recorded uses of the ninja. His name was Saijin. We need a wall-sized blackboard, huh? I write big, so hopefully you can see it. Saijin. Now, Saijin had a name, an alias, if you will. It was called Shinobi. Shinobi. Shinobi means one who uses stealth, one who sneaks in. That's what shinobi means. And the word ninja comes from the character symbol as one who uses stealth and mental warfare to achieve their goals. And this is that symbol that you commonly see on the ninja books. Right here, Shinobi Ninja. Now, ninja has classically 9 training halls that move from physical to the mental, and within each physical hall is a mental or psychological plethora of lessons to be learned. And earlier I explained the history of how it developed in Japan. India to China to Japan, so we think. There are a few different texts. Ha Ha Lungs mostly talks about this in this fashion. Don Draeger has a little bit of different take on it. All are well worth your time. Now, the 9 training halls. One, unarmed combat. Now that's very important, isn't it? It's kind of like boot camp. Your unarmed combat, when you've got your body mastered, then you can master someone else's body. And if you've got yours mastered down to a fine art, it's very difficult, nearly impossible for someone to master you. And the same goes with your mind. Okay? But let's start off, unarmed combat. Wooden weapons. That might be our Vende, Kali, and Eskrima and stick fighting. Wooden weapons. Nunchucks, 3-piece staff, bow. Okay? Then we move on to the third school, bladed weapons. Bladed and edged weapons. The samurai sword, the short sword, the katana, the knife, the shuriken, the shaken, the dirk, the dagger, okay? Bladed weapons. Then, the 4th training hall was what we'll call flexible weapons. Not always soft, but flexible. What would be a flexible weapon? Flexible weapon. A chain. That's flexible. How about a rope? Very flexible. A scarf. Okay, street ninja. What could you use immediately as a weapon? Your belt. Okay? Flexible weapons. 5 was specialized weapons. Specialized devices, smoke bombs, okay? Climbing, stealth walking, specialization. 6 was disguise. Now in disguise, in the 6th training hall, We have two kinds of disguise, don't we? We have physical disguise. Okay? A makeup artist, man dressing like woman, wigs. Okay? Physical disguise, costumes, blending in. Okay? Hiding in plain sight. Physical disguise. How are you dressing? How are you appearing? To fit in comfortably or to stand out? Why would you want to stand out? Maybe you want subtlety. Maybe you want quality. Think about that. Your wardrobe is very important. It's your modern day camouflage. And some people don't understand that. And then we had mental disguise. What would be an example of mental disguise? And how can you use this in modern day life? Mental disguise. Knowing a religious or cultural adaptation. Okay? Adopting an attitude where you want to fit in. Joining with the enemy in their attitude. See, that was a disguise, wasn't it? Or acting like a Muslim if you wanted to infiltrate them. Or acting if you wanted to infiltrate a Buddhist temple, you might convert to Buddhism, right? Agent provocateur, stealth. How else could you adopt those attitudes? Let's say you're at a rally for Save the Whales, and the young lady that your affections are set upon is very active in that. Do you see how you can become that? Dress that? Talk that? Okay? Do you see also how that can be used against you? See? How someone might be adopting your attitudes, language patterns, cultural and social interests for the purpose that is other than stated. Does that make sense? Okay? When you learn how to fight with a knife, then you can learn how to defend against a knife. Likewise, when you learn how to disguise physically and mentally, then you learn how others can use that same tool against you and how to defend against it. Okay? The sixth school. Physical and mental disguise. Most disguises these days are done mental, aren't they? And it's easy for you, your instant lie detector, to know when someone is lying, even when they have, don't worry about that, everything's in place, but there's just something not right. It comes up naturally, like a bubble coming up. You know, you take a balloon underwater and you let it go, and it just rises up, and just something rises up, and your intuition tells you this person is lying to me. Here's one way to get someone to fess up. I ask you someone, did you do what I asked you to do? And they say, yeah. And I go, great. No, you didn't. You're lying to me. I'll see you later. Okay? And what happens is, oh, I was lying, I didn't do it. Okay? That's one technique to use, is to not miss a beat. Notice my tempo, the way you talk, the way they talk. Never show emotion. You're lying to me, because then what they do, they get afraid. Instead, often using what I call the dudder, or the shock. In other words, it's such a shock. Do you know this? Look at this as a seduction tool, okay? And I don't even believe in that term, really, because it's just natural. Everything should be natural. But if you go out, and you go up, say you're going out to nightclubs. God, Lord help me. I haven't been there in years. They smell. I don't like cigarette smoke. But this is your tromping ground, or coffee shops. And I had a friend, and he would just go up, and he would go from lady to lady, and he would just come up, and he would say, will you make love to me? Just sincerely and natural as you can be. You know what? He never failed. Never. They're so not used to that. They're so used to, hi, how are you? Can I buy you a drink? Come here often. They're so used to that he just come and cut through all that ping, and they go, oh, what's your name? And just boom. They go, and it never failed. It worked for him every time. And some of them were beautiful, and some of them were not. But that's not the point. The point is, it worked because he shook convention. He busted through programming. See? And so adopting the mental disguises, we're on training hall number 6 of physical and mental disguise. So how to find out, and of course I go to it in great detail on a DVD that we have that we've never released called How to Tell If Someone Is Lying. But I can tell you right now, a great way to just get them to immediately tell the truth is just remain silent. Never change when you receive information. When someone is telling you something, never change. Like I described when the Korean manager of the casino was yelling away at me, I never changed. I was just like this the whole time, just naturally. So he broke. All the facade just broke. And break, you just remain quiet. And let that energy sit out there and let your intuition tell you. And if it does tell you that they're lying to you, one thing you can do is bait switch, right? In other words, in the act of submission is the counterattack. So you submit, right? Like say someone hits you, oh man, right? In the same way, you can act like you believed it and received it and then, oh, you're lying to me. But then before they can respond, you walk away and they go, wait, they try to catch you. Wait, oh, well, yeah, I'm sorry, I was. See that? That's a great way. Another way that you can do it is have a force field so powerful. A force field. Remember the king's cape and your force field? And your little twinkle in the eye and just your slight, subtle smile. And your authority. That they don't want to lie to you. See, there are reasons they lie to you. Maybe they're afraid of your reaction. So when you stop reacting, they loosen up and stop lying. Okay? But it's so natural, and your force field can just get them to where they just come clean. There is a lot of power in silence. Sometimes leave the gap. They say the lie, and then they wait for the response. And when you just stand there unmoved, that gap is so long they can't stand it. So they start talking to fill the gap. Now, that's related to this, but I got a little off track. I felt you needed that. Use that. Think deeply on that. Go over that. It's very valuable, and I'll give you more later. But for now, the 7th training hall. Espionage. Spying. Okay? Intelligence gathering. Using the information to stop the opponents. Espionage. The 8th training hall. Of course. Escape. And evasion. Camouflage. Lockpicking. Escape and evasion. Tactics of that nature. Now, do you see how these all relate? We're not on number 9 yet, but do you see how they all relate? Could number 6 be used in number 8 and vice versa? Absolutely. They're all interrelated. Okay? So, number 9 was mysticism, you might call it. Okay? Meditation. Concentration techniques. Hypnosis. Think of Harry Houdini. Think of emotional manipulation. Concentration and meditation to strengthen the ninja's mind and to learn how to weaken the minds of others. That strong mind, think about it. How is anything done in life? It goes from thought. Often actually it goes from feeling to thought. Got that. To words. To actions. So, if you want to use mental warfare on someone, where should you hit first? Feelings. Emotions. Decisions. Important decisions should never be made on emotion, should they? In an emotional state? Do you want a permanent solution to a temporary problem? Do you want a temporary solution to a permanent problem? No, neither. But that's what happens when decisions are based on emotion. So the feeling gate. This is the gate right here. Okay? Thoughts. How do we influence feelings and thoughts? Okay? How do we do that? We do that through our energy and our communication. Communication, there you go. You read that? Probably not. Our energy and our communication. We can influence feelings and thoughts. Now, our energy communicates. And when we have mastered our own feelings and thoughts, then we become alpha in the field. Okay? We become magnetic. And we magnetize that which we desire when we have mastered our own feelings and thoughts, because that leads to mastery of words and actions. Now, we can master the words of others by affecting their feelings and thoughts and getting them to repeat certain words. You'll find them repeating the commercial. You'll see it. You'll hear it on the news. How they'll say certain buzzwords, okay, and people will start repeating it. No. They'll start parroting what they hear, okay? And the communication, they do that very effectively. That's how language is used, okay? And we have all sorts of different words that come into play through repetition, getting people to repeat things. Okay? Now it might be a pattern. Bob? Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. You doing good? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Or it might be, have you heard that intolerance is the language of hatred? And people go around spouting that, and what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. There are certain things you should not tolerate. Okay? If someone wants to squat on your front lawn and take a dump, you shouldn't tolerate that. You should call a cop or yell out, hey, get off my lawn. Okay? All right? Do you hate him for not wanting him to do that? No. But these little type of Orwellian speak, okay, where language gets deconstructed,